Today's video, we'll continue our What a Civilization Restarted series, and we will focus on expansion and collapse. With the Green Nation deciding that it's time to invade this Purple Nation, with the goal the Green Nation has of taking over. Well, they do pretty well. Well, they also invade this nation, and this nation, and this nation, and one more. With it quickly becoming the strongest nation in the world. And well, as you can see, it's becoming closer and closer, but I can't really tell exactly. And while the Yellow Nation is not quite too pleased with this rapid extension of this nation down at their border, I would assume they're not. Well, you may think now is an important time to be united. And well, yeah, they do a good job at being united. Their northern, access to the sea decides to leave. Not a big deal. Then comes lands over here. As the Pink Nation, which for some reason has dots still left on the map. Okay, it decided to come back. And well, this empire is not lasting. And well, oh, this is an interesting looking nation. And well, the nation in the north leaves. Why? Because they had no choice. And well, the Blue Nation. Well, this Blue Nation loses this chunk of land to independence. Which, this isn't good. But, I mean, it's kind of impossible to stop collapse. Just as much as it is impossible to stop other things. With this northern part leaving, you may say, oh, that's probably all of the problems in this area. And this nation, a state over there leaves, followed by a state down here. Well, over here, they lose some land. And well, as you can see, this is not really shaping out to be the best time for this area of the world. Well, why? As well as collapsing. Yeah, that's fun. While at the same time, an empire is rising to the south. Not the best time to collapse. And well, this isn't a good situation. Two nations collapsed here. And well, there's an imperialist nation there. And then we go here. And well, look, it's Australia. We haven't been here for a while. Well, this brown nation decides they want more land that isn't desert. So they invade here. And well, you think it's going well. But well, this kind of happens. And well, the Green Nation and this Brown Nation decides to split this nation in a partition. Yes, the partition is broken out. And well, as you can see, you may be like, what are the borders they decide? Well, arbitrary borders, you mean? They put the border here, which benefits the southern nation more than this northern Green Nation. Which, I mean, the northern Green Nation, they get half invaded, and then pushed all the way back. And they weren't in the full time, so now there's two nations on this continent. Oceania, the island of Australia, has two countries now. Well, this nation, the Green Nation, then decides to invade this nation to the south of them. Well, they have massive success with this nation surrendering. Now you can see this nation is not a friendly nation to anyone. Well, an exploration is done by the red country and purple country, and the green country decides to go along with it, as they are basically de facto to the will of all the other powers around it. With them being gave a tiny piece of land, while the red nation takes here, and the purple nation, well, they take over an archipelago. Well, this nation could easily collapse. That's the strongest nation in this area of the world, but it's prone to collapse due to how big it has been getting. And well, who knows, maybe the rest of the world will soon land here. Not too soon, but maybe they will, and colonization can begin. And that could be a new season, I guess, technically, but it wouldn't be. Most likely I wouldn't make it that. And well, now for the red team to take their lands from this discovery. Well, as you can tell, there's some important lands of this purple nation. And, well, the most important lands of the purple nation are, add a layer for a second, and, well, their land in one certain area is the most important, which is this area. And, well, I know it goes across and out of the purple, but it's these lands, realistically, are what's most important to them. And, well, that's pretty far south. And, well, that's gone for that layer. And, well, nations can't stay together forever. And, well, who's the next nation to expand itself? Well, this country decides to expand into this island. And no, it doesn't know they have another island. Well, it manages to take it over. And well, the nation agrees to give up as they fled. The royalty of that nation probably fled, or did fled away. As this nation's trying to gather the strength to take out, well, the southern nation, the light blue nation that's expanding rapidly in the region. Well, both of them are looking for the same thing, expansion, with this nation beating them to it. Well, that did not happen. Well, this is how the borders end up. Well, that's an interesting border. And well, no, not there. Not there. I can't think of somebody to expand, honestly, at this point. But somebody does decide to expand, and it's this nation, which quickly goes up and does this. But not wanting them to hit this frozen water above, they decide to do that. And well, let's see both of these have peace treaty. As you can see, this is not the best setup for this area. But this country could easily collapse, as it would collapse into multiple nations down in the southern part. But the nation to the south of it has a minor collapse, as they're unable to control a rebellion of one small area, very small area, which includes over here, and down over here. And while it seems inevitable that they will lose, as they try pushing it back, and they do successfully push them back, but that's only short-lived, their successful counter-offensive. And well, quickly it starts spreading all over this peninsula, and that peninsula. Yeah. And then these two fronts combine. Well, they have control up to here, and then they control this area of this peninsula, and so on. This rebellion manages to take land. So let's see the Pink Nation exists now, after the Pink Rebellion, which I said it was a minor collapse, but right after that it gets worse, with a few small areas leaving. Along in this area, you may say, how's that a few small nations? It does not look like a few small nations. But trust me, it is. And see, a bunch of small nations. And well, they kind of look like this. They are all cluttered. But this area is not really happy with the current status of their empire. So yeah, they leave and form their own nations. If you're not happy, they form their own nation. Literally what happens. And well, let's just keep changing the colors more and more. And well, here. And in the north, they have another problem like that. Although less bad for small nations. But it starts around up here. You may think, oh, one nation. No, it's something like this. Two nations, and it's somewhat like a southern nation, and then northern nation. And well, you can see it's kind of grayish. Well, that nation is probably going to collapse fully in the next part. Which, then comes the Pink Empire launching an attack to kick their enemies to the north out. Hey, this is like the French and British rivalry of our time. Interesting. Although neither is French nor Britain. And while a few nations run away from this empire, including one in the extreme southern part of this empire over here, one located over here, this nation's back, along with this nation in the north. That nation is like a northern part of that. And then this nation leaves. Yeah, this is like our past Spain. Let's just today's video with a few collapses and a few expansions. Well, more so conquests. As you can see, this nation's ready to crumble. That's going to happen to some of these nations in the next part, because we haven't really looked at them. We've only really looked at Europe and North America today. But we also did kind of look in Asia. Kind of not. And the Middle East. Africa and Oceania we looked at, but we didn't look at much. And well, that's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, but not until you subscribe. Bye, guys!